Hello, everyone. Thank you for you joining our special event today. And 2020 is a challenge year for everyone. Just myself actually have been working from home for over 300 days. But luckily, biopharma industry is still booming, and the global biopharma collaboration in terms of numbers of cross-border transactions even broke the track records last year. So today, I'm very honored to invite my good friends, Evan and Juho, who are the pioneers of cross-border collaboration, join me to share their experience, how to convert challenges to opportunity of global collaboration in 2020, and also their forecast for this year. Evan is the CEO of Neurophth Therapeutics. He has extensive experience in US and China, especially in global clinical trial. Juho is the VP Business Development of Farim Pharmaceuticals in Finland. And in 2020, Faron had been successfully expanded their team to US despite the pandemic. So welcome, Evan and Juho.
Thank you, Echo.
And
Pleasure to be here with you.
How are you?
I'm good.
You are from Finland, right? Evan, in New York City?
Yes, I'm New York. Hi, Juho.
Hey, Alvin, good to see you.
Good seeing you too.
Thank you very much. How about we start maybe introduce yourself to the audience and help them understand a little bit more about you.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Thank you. So as said, I'm Juho Jalkanen, based in Finland. So having to do global biopharma from Finland, we were kind of used to this already. Remotely working from the outskirts of the globe. I'm an MD, PhD by background, did a big career in vascular surgery, actually, then also a PhD in molecular biology while also doing business school. I'm a founding member of Faron Pharmaceuticals university spin-out out of the local university here from Finland with some exceptional science. Our scientific founders, again, had long careers in the States, for example, in Stanford, and then they moved back to Finland to set up their own labs, set up a couple of biotechs, just what is currently happening a lot in China as well.
So I'm Alvin Luke. I'm actually a graduate from the Bay Area in California, between Cal Berkeley, and then got my PhD in neuroscience at UCSF. And then later on, I joined a small biotech company at that time called Telluric, and then became Amgen, and then went to Avigen, Bayer, Biogen. Then I went to Boston, and then Spark Therapeutics. Then I went to China to learn how to do those clinical trials there with Hinnis and Fuxin. Then now I'm Neurophth. I also got my MBA at Harvard University. Welcome everybody.
Thank you, Evan and Will again. And so, actually, Evan, you have been very busy. Even in 2020, you busy travel between China and the US, and also you made the breakthrough of the clinical trial for your new firm. And can you share more the experience? How did you convert the challenge to the opportunities in 2020?
Sure. So couple things we probably have to understand. There's a lot of a pandemic going on still going on right now, causing that some of the restriction on traveling. And in this case, I went back to China, particularly to Wuhan, and talked to the government around end of August last year. In my new company, we actually get our leading compound for the labor optic, labor hereditary optic neuropathy. That one already got the US FDA ODD. And so many of the stuff you can see that on our website as well. that we also got the submission of the IND to China, and using that again, teaching them how to do the pre-IND meeting in virtually. Of course, FDA do that already, and also trying to do submission online rather than do paperwork. You have to do official stamp in China. We have 6 boxes just for one submission. So those are the differences. I think China is learning right now through the world, actually, basically.
Wow, that's very amazing. And you still successfully filed the IND in China in 2020 and started the clinical trial there.
We submitted, and then based on the China regulatory reform, now they have 60 working days. Rather than used to before that, I yell at them. I remember 10 years ago that I say, you've been sitting on the shelf for 1 year. Well, when are you going to read my stuff?
Okay, that's great. And Juho, so what's your experience in 2020? As I remember last conversation you shared with me, actually, you even expanded your team in US.
Yes, so for me, I think it was a very good year in the following respect. Having been doing pharma BD for several years now, I was actually thinking that a lot of this could be done remotely through TCs and stuff like that. But I think it was just a way for the industry, the way of life was to travel and meet people. It's all good. I'm a people person and I love meeting people in person. But still, I thought a lot of this stuff could be done with less travel and over the internet. And then came the pandemic, and then just it happened automatically. And I've been loving it since then, because, for example, just last JP Morgan, where you could have 10 meetings a day and you would be exhausted by running around the city, but you could now do 20 meetings a day just out of your office. And I think you get more interaction. There's more meetings, more interaction, and a lot of this stuff can be accomplished over the internet, which used to require travel. I already thought that, but now everybody's okay with handling stuff like this over the internet. I think it's been great for the industry.
Yeah. So what kind of the progress Farim made in 2020?
Yes, so 2020 was also a big year for us. We got an IND in the States, and got the first US people hired over the internet, of course. Took several meetings though, and also got our first study sites opened in the US. Now that I have to say, that took some time, because it was last spring when we were opening sites, and that was delayed by a couple of months before we got that, because we were going to have a physical initiation visits, but then Corona came and they were pushed back and they couldn't have it. But then we adapted and we finally got sites open. But there we saw a delay. Those trials, I can also say something about Europe for the audience here, because these US sites became a part of our global trial, which was already ongoing in Europe. In Europe, it really depended on the area, because we have sites in the UK, Netherlands, Spain, Finland, of course. And Finland, Netherlands, they were recruiting normally, while UK was stuck with the pandemic and couldn't actually take patients at first. So it was good to have sites all around. So that's why I think it's also very nice that we can have global trials, global collaboration, and trials can be run virtually more and more also. So in situations like these, you have, sites in different locations where they can still enroll normally, while some may be stuck with the current situation there.
So do you think that is one of the reasons, because of a pandemic impact on the clinical trial, drive the pharmaceutical company, biotech company more think about how to conduct the global collaboration, especially on clinical trial.
Yes, definitely. That's at least my point of view, and I'm very much in favor of that, and I think others are also, because at least if you would just have a study might get stuck completely and delayed significantly unless it's spread out across the globe in different regions. And day management, the interacting with people can now happen more over the internet, so you can really operate those trials, because there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of operational stuff to do, but it's okay dealing with it over the internet.
Yeah, I think both of your company are very lucky and run successfully, but I know is still a lot of company, actually, especially biotech company, be killed because they cannot do any clinical trial. Then they cannot raise any fund because without data. And so Evan and could you share some like experience? How do you see the technology in clinical trial make this doable for the because now you have the virtual clinical trial management and in China and in US and in Europe, because I'm so lucky to have both of you and cover around the world the three most important continental Asian and North America and Europe. So can you share some of the insights of it and your experience?
Yeah, so maybe I said that in that too. I do agree with Juho regarding about the current situation with the pandemic. I was doing trials for Hinnis at that time too, and we were trying to open site, and it's the same thing. We have been chasing right behind with the COVID-19. We started with China, and then in China cannot enroll patient at the very beginning of last year. Then we went to like Italy, Spain, but then they closed one by one after us. We started. So at the end, I would say that almost like around May to June of last year, it was interesting to see that is China actually stepped up again and allowed them to allow them enrolling patient and going to the site, and versus all the other country, all the way we went to Turkey. At the end, we have to kind of put a pause, and UK forget it. It's never moved forward. I don't know what. Sorry about the people on the line. Then regarding about and so my point was that is, yes, the global clinical trial will help because you can deal with some of those situations and at a certain country. Regarding about what you just said about the technology, the virtual risk-based monitoring has been using for Europe and US a lot. China has the similar issues, but the good thing about the China, the NMPA, have been very open for that too. So they've been asking what happened to the report and everything. They even think about allowing us to even dip into the what you call that hospital internet in a secure place. So a lot of things they have that, but they haven't figured out in the detail. Rather than US are much more already advanced and how to do it when we get to the hospital, how to set up even virtually. So I saw the increase of remote monitoring for sure. Site initiation too, how maybe can talk about that too. Used to be we have to go to the site and do all those. Now it's particularly virtual. I mean, 2 days ago, I was just doing one for an investigator meeting, for example, trying to do that for over 200 people. So that was also doing everything virtually.
Yes, I have to compliment on that, and that luckily the tech has been in place. It hasn't been so used yet, but now it forced people to use it. And luckily also regulatory authorities have been very positive about it. For example, risk-based remote monitoring, which we were already doing, but it's been a good thing for the industry, and I think it's moving more and more into that direction. The tech is there, at least at least here in Europe and US.
Indeed, and I think what happened was, I remember I was still traveling a little bit to the FDA office at that early last year, and there was some guideline about risk-based remote control, particularly from the US FDA, questioning and asking assistant, particularly some of those sites, they are not allowing patient to go in to do the treatment, and so we have a challenge. Some of those oncology study with multiple cycle, where can they get the infusion and that kind of stuff. Also, I'm glad that FDA and EMA actually asking us how to industry how to respond to those. China was a little bit behind.
Yeah, China joined the ICH 2 years ago, almost 3 years now. So Evan, because you really like kind of like from the starting of China to the global clinical trial, and now what do you see how that to drive the global collaboration, especially like business collaboration, the clinical, because China be part of the global clinical trial sites now?
I think the question more about is what are the changes. You can see that the huge government support for regulatory starting to define certain steps, not unlike before that you submit an IND, you wait, God know how, 12 months, 24 months. And so now I think a lot of those people that are employed by the China CDE and NMPA actually came from US FDA. So that was good. Now, if you look at in terms of business-wise, used to be China will be trying to do in-license products because that's all they can do. That's not true. Government are really pushing for innovative. So you can see that, for example, the PD-1, PD-L1 get into the China market from the Bristol Myers Squibb and Merck at the beginning. And after a few months, boom, you already have local PD-1, PD-L1 in there already. So nowadays, if you go to any of those talk in China, it's more about your innovative, what are the next thing, rather than what you call the fast follower anymore. Is all new stuff. Then of course the next step is if the quality can be controlled and can follow US guideline and EMA guideline, then the next step is talking about licensing the product outside of China and go to US, go to Europe. That's why our product also get the US FDA ODD, is because we are routing that route as well.
Mm.
Yeah, it's great seeing that now there's also out licensing from China to the US. It's been a great thing to see.
Mm.
Yeah, our license actually last year, 1 year itself was 32. Their license transaction happened from China to the outside of China. But you know, from the 2007 to 2019, the 12 years, total is only 37 transactions license out. So last year was really the breakthrough year. Okay, so I think that is really, the clinical trial is really the most important thing for the other new drug development. I think that is the reason of foundation how the to the biopharma and the cross-border collaboration. But we do want to cover more the topic today. And so in terms of a business collaboration, Evan and Faron, you have been looking into the like US, Europe, and with US, and now you are looking at the China, and Evan, you are the upside from the China to the US and Europe. So what's your strategy and what's your forecast for the 2021?
So I can start again this time. So for us, being relatively small from Finland, and small country, small population, we have to be global. So we want global partners. They can be big partners that can be global, or they can be territorial partners like just for China. So, but for us, it's important to get those collaborations and partnerships ongoing to establish those global trials. For example, now we have people in Europe and the States, but China is a big pool of patients, and we would like to be a part of that patient pool as well. So we are actively going out in 21, seeking for a Chinese partner to join us, and they will join our then global trials, and we can get patients from China as well. And then for the Chinese partner, the collaboration will bring also more patients and recognition from US, Europe.
I do think that's right. The China resource have a lot and lot of patients, a lot of pool from that. That's come back to the government regulatory support. That is important. Then of course, in nowadays, as you can see, last year with the collaboration between Beijing and Amgen. And then, of course, Innovent with Roche, all this have become a partnership globally. For us particularly, we, we, we actually develop all our product in-house. That's why we are focusing on our manufacturing, building right now, focusing on both China and US and Europe quality, because many of the products, particularly for DNA gene therapy, that type of thing, that was a regulation in China. You cannot take the product from outside and come into China. So in that case, lot of big pharmaceutical doing gene therapy like Pfizer and Sanofi, they cannot do that unless they're going to manufacture their stuff in China. So in our case, I'm not going to do just for China. There's a lot of those CDMO in China just focused then. So our way is to manufacture accordingly so that we can go outside of China as well. So I will see that there will be a lot of those help. And then the China NMPA are still learning how to do all those IND, BLA, all those submission online. That was a challenge end of last year. My God. And then of course, they are also very open on study design, and they want to learn from how US. I'm helping right now, helping them to write the preclinical IND enabling study for gene therapy. Well, I will be writing in English, then they do the translation in Chinese because I cannot do Chinese. So those are, I think is interesting. They are learning.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because the technology in China is so advanced, like Tencent, Alibaba, and the fintech, right? But so we assume like even the technology for clinical trial for registration should be same, not the same level, should be like also advanced. But from what your experience, it seems actually still very old school, and they're trying is still in the learning process.
Yes, for example, you mentioned earlier, China joined the ICH, but if you look at the China guideline, never tell you how to do pharmacovigilance. How are you going to track them? Because you're not going to track them by paperwork. So those are the things that they still have to learn using different tools in China. We are in our little company, we are trying to convert everything into cloud. Then, of course, you have Alibaba Cloud and all the stuff. I say, well, you can do all those cloud, but I'm sitting right now outside of China. You need to get over what you call that the internet, the wall, the internet wall.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing they are start learning now. The IND submission or everything using the online submission, they also are learning right now.
Yeah. So, who like can you share some experience between the Europe and the US? I think that's a lot. what we can learn from such a collaboration in terms of China and the US and Europe later?
Well, this is a very interesting topic, because what I've seen now during the past years is that the life science industry in China has been booming. And in part, what I see, you have like biotechs that come, that you have pipelines filled with bispecifics on PD1, CTL4s. You got big valuations, a lot of cash, which is great stuff seeing. And for example, Europe is a bit more constrained, but then again, what Europe has in comparison, it has a lot of great basic academic science. And I see this booming life science industry growing China, and I see the government putting a lot of effort on that, because it needs investment. It's going to need long, big investment to pay off. But I see that happening already, because now out licensing to US, China getting their own innovative products. But here comes the thing, why Europe, US still a bit ahead, and if China really wants to become a leader in the life science industry, is that they cannot be doing just known targets, your PD1s or lag-3s, because these are targets that come from Europe, US, possibly Japan, and then you can, with your resource in China, you can fast follow, make the same stuff quickly. But to have that leap, to become a superpower, become a leading industry, you will have to make completely new targets. And usually these are discovered in universities in Europe and the US. But it will need a bit of a leap of faith, more risk-taking, to be comfortable of taking something completely new and making a drug out of it, pushing the envelope, I would say. But to do that, you will have to have a foundation of science, a foundation of understanding biology, that you would put your money into a completely new target with a lot of risk, but that may be the winning target. But only that way can China really become a leading biopharmaceutical industry. Otherwise, it will continue just following on and rapidly following and taking the targets that have been established in Europe and US. And this, I say, with great respect, I think the resources are there, the talent is there. It's just maybe the foundational science or something there, or then the risk-taking attitude, is it there? That's an interesting topic.
Yeah. I want to add on to that. It's the mentality and the culture. Think about that China have been always been a copycatter and really want to be the fast follower, quicker. And so when you're talking to the people in science industry, they always will challenge back. When I challenge them, they will challenge back. Oh, we never done this. Have that happened in US, in Europe? So they do that comparison right away. And I think the people have to step out the comfort zone, as what Juho said too. I think it's important that I always think that the industry is blooming so fast, like back into the late 90s in the US, in the Bay Area. And so the people always have those fancy title. It's different. I'm sorry about that, and I'm not going to do that in my group, and actually in Hindus as well too. So I think it's back down to the fundamental. Let the science lead you, and then to discover, rather than, oh, I want to be a director, I want to be a VP, and then, like I always say, that you always want to be a chef. Then let me give you an onion, you cut it for me, show it to me how to do it, and that's the problem for them.
I remember like a few years ago, I took the group of the farmer biotech CEOs to China, And when we had a meeting with the Chinese investor and the Chinese farmer executives, and the Western CEOs asking me, Echo, are they the right person? Are they decision maker we are meeting? Because they are so young. They kind of like my grandchildren or so. I said, welcome to China. Actually, Evan, what you just shared is, I think it's, we grow so fast. And so especially for my generation or even younger generation, we have such a benefit of skip so much the I think the fundamental
Yeah.
training and become under like a order in the decision maker level. Actually, this can be the benefit, but sometimes I agree with you, especially for the science can be dangerous. So that's the I think actually there's a lot of learning I can see, and I can see actually thanks to that so many scientists went back to China. I think especially
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Evan with such totally Western mindset, but also have so actually I'm very impressed with your adaptability to adopt to Chinese culture, to be like
I don't
have
think
you
so.
like when you are there, you work as a group with them, but actually you influence them, just like you said for the Chinese. If you are leading them, you are influencing them, you teaching them. I think that's really what they need, because I talked to the top pharmaceutical company is in the very niche market, and they say that we really wanted the innovative drugs, but we needed to teach the Chinese FDA how to do the registration. They want us to advise them. I think that's made us very proud of our work. We are not only just like doing the work, actually we are changing the fundamental. So that's very, very exciting. So I think Evan, you are really in the inside China for such a long time, but you still like you have so much the background in US. So what's your suggestion, or what's the like even let's just go to more practical. What's your suggestion for Huho how to be success in China?
I think for outside of China, for doing partnership, you really have to pick on to the right company, the mentality, and then of course you have to you have something you have to learn. Yes, those people are look very young. You also have to really push them, particularly from company outside, is what is the mentality, how are they going to do the decision making. In the other way, the China go looking back into outside of China, they always looking for your help. They always looking for your idea. You will get a resistant. They will say, we never done this. How are you going to do this? Like the China CDE will ask us to go all the way to do a virtual call. And they said, how did you figure out this study design, and how do you work on this? And they are really willing to learn. And I think that is important. Understand the culture first. Oh, by the way, you need to drink. If you learn how to drink, then you're okay.
Well, for Finns, that's not a problem.
I know.
And I love the Chinese white wine.
Oh, good. I like the vodka too.
Mao Tai.
Yeah, Mao Tai in there too. Yeah.
But I have to point out still here that I'm where is this risk taking or not having done before, being scared of that? Where does it come from? Because when I was in school long time ago, when I was in school, I was taught that China was great. They invented gunpowder, they invented paper. So when is it gonna be that China's gonna be inventing the stuff again, not just following the stuff?
I do think it's coming. I do think it's coming. I think there's so many years of they are just say, okay, you guys are not as good as the US and Europe, rest of the world. Quickly learn from them, quickly follow them. And you can see there's huge delay in medicine to get approval. That was a long time. And right now you can see PD-1 was very fast, but before the other drug, you saw a delay. And particularly when I was at Bayer, I remember we have to do study everywhere except China. And then after get approval, we go to China and talk to the China government and then do another study. Now you're talking about 5 to 10 years delay of the medicine to get on market. And I tried to push them until I went to Biogen. I say, no way, I'm going to do 21 countries altogether, including China. And that was the first time they learned 10 years ago. Now I just want to reverse the process. Instead of submitting the IND in US, I'm going to submit the IND in China first. And then I did talk to the government, particularly US FDA, that they do have guidelines for foreign country data, as long as you meet the GCP, GMP guideline. So they are not closing the door for Chinese data if as long as your quality. So I think that's a good, and it's same thing in China, who they will accept data from Europe and US too.
Yeah, yeah, which is great. That's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think the regulation is really play a very important role how to drive the innovation, because in the past decades actually China had no clear regulation how to register new drug and also IP protection. But in the past few years actually China is the government have been really working hard on that. The IP even last year, I mean, every month have the new regulation, have new laws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see it's more adopt to the golden standard from the FDA, and also the IP is more adopt to the US the practice now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we don't want to talk politicals, but of course we have the new president here for the new year, and it's a new hope. So what do you see, like from Europe and ever from China and the US? What do you see the collaboration under this new leadership of President Biden?
Well, Alvin, you want to go first? Being
I remember I went to Wuhan government. I told them I do not want to talk about the politics, because they keep asking me in Chinese which one will I pay. Did I vote the Trump or Biden? And I keep looking at them. They all want me to pick Trump because they know that this guy can really screw up US. But doesn't matter. I think you're talking about more about the U.S. and China war going on. That is a hurdles, and I think that we are very cautious, and that's why we get a lot of collaboration going to Europe as well too. I think in U.S. we are more cautious in how to deal with that. Particularly, I don't want to jeopardize anybody in the US. So when we trying to be very transparent for any of the collaboration, that we have nothing to hook up with the government. But like for example, Wuhan government want me and my team to really build a translational gene therapy center and ask me how much money, then da da da. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I say, you pay. I don't want to get any of those caught in between. Government pay us to do that. I say, no, you pay for the center, you do it on the center. Like there's a lot of NIH center in Maryland, and you're doing that way. So I don't want to mix the line. And then when I talking about what will be now with the Biden, with the new president, I do still think that will be a lot of collaboration. It will be continue, and I think people were scared when they see U.S. and China war, and they kind of stop putting in the money before. But I think that was wrong, because you actually give us more opportunity to really tie up together.
Yeah.
If your thing is correct, you do it the correct way, then there's nothing you have to worry.
yes,
Europe.
maybe as a European, I would think I speak for a lot of Europeans here. Would say, well, as Alvin said, Trump was destructive, and Biden is more constructive. Maybe for China to be constructing a wall. I don't know, I hope not. But we see it as a good thing. America coming back to the international tables in politics, like WHO, and coming back to the international dialogue with good manners. So we consider, at least I consider, but I would think Europe considers this as a good thing in all aspects. I was just scared of what is US gonna end up as Alvin said. He'll just run the country to ruins possibly, but almost happened. I'm just happy he's gone.
So, do you see like in the past few years, the 4 years, do you see that more collaboration between Europe and China because of this the US and the China trade war?
I would very much hope so. I've seen during my past, there's been a lot of US-China relationship and not that much to Europe, and I would like to see that grow as well, because as said, China has a lot of resources because of the society and how everything works in Europe. We're rather well off, but resources are divided more equally among all, but there's not plentiful. There's not like big buckets of resources poured into life sciences. China have it, but then we have great science. And, I think we have great people, great minds in Europe. So I would like to see a lot more European-Chinese collaboration.
Yeah.
And I do think that it is the case. Like, as I said yesterday too, going to talk to people in Kazinska in Sweden, as well as we went to Berlin, not went to virtually. So I think that the thing is that we will get more collaboration in Europe that we never thought of, because I think always US first, US market first, but now
everybody thinks that.
I think that was like switching it now. Even we are including Russia talking too. So those are interesting.
Yeah, actually, my personal experience in the past few years, I really see the more collaboration between China and Europe. I think the most important reason, I think, is also like Juho, you just said, the foundation of the science. Actually, it's not this kind of US, but Europe, the foundation of science. I think just is more innovative in the early stage, in the novel targets, because of the government support, because of the local benefit, even the social benefit drive, the people can be more focused on their developers novel things instead of just support their life. That's what I see the interesting thing. Actually, even our MSQ business, we have probably more than 50% of clients are from Europe. Like, it's very amazing to see from the country probably I did not even go before, like Finland, and even from Norway and Ireland, and they were very spread out. It's difficult, actually, it made it difficult for the Chinese company to explore because it's so decentralized. Not like US. You can go to San Francisco, California.
You
can
got the hubs. Bay Area, Boston,
Philadelphia.
You got your hubs and that's it. But it's Europe. It's of course UK areas, Nordic areas, Berlin, Frankfurt. So it's Switzerland, for example, and great universities also Spain, Italy. So it's very diverse. That's true.
Yeah, it's very diversified. It's interesting to see, because I'm Chinese. Before I go to Europe so deeply and the US, I thought US, American, European, they're same to me. But no, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
But yeah, they're so different. And of course, the more advanced, the matured technology are in US, because you can see a lot of the good technology company, actually the roots also in Europe. Like they have the root connection with Europe. So that's what we see. Actually, this can be the similar collaboration between the China, US, and the Europe as well. I just wanted to share with the government, this is not to say steal the technology or take the technology from one country to another. Then the Chinese will put it in the safe box, say that's for China. No, I think this collaboration is build the ecosystem globally, right?
I do agree. If you look at the current the pandemic, okay, now you can see that what happened. Moderna, it had Moderna itself, but Pfizer
Yeah.
with the BioNTech from Germany, and if you look at in China, it's Fuxing with the BioNTech. It's the same thing. So they're doing a messenger RNA, and it's already got approved a couple of days ago, emergency use in Hong Kong. So you can see that all collaboration is interesting. The pandemic actually put everybody together.
Exactly. And they
Did you guys actually know that Moderna's CEO did his postdoc in Finland? So the actual original
Punchline.
Yeah, I think that is especially for science. I think there's no way if it's a good science. I think everyone in the world should benefit from it, especially for the treatment and all the patients around the world. That's how the company develop the drugs can focus on the development and can get a financial return, and the patients they can get the cute, right? So I really forecast or hope the 2021 or going forward, such a collaboration can be more freedom. Like Evan can say yes to the government fund that can quickly build the system there and can benefit globally. But okay, I do want to, because both of you are the expert in your area. And so I want you to forecast what's the next technology for like Juho, what's the next technology for the oncology, especially for the immune oncology?
A great question. So, okay, the thing with immunology is everybody has their checkpoint inhibitors. Everybody wants to activate T cells, but the thing is, the major resistance in cancer, in the tumor, the major resistance why T cells do not work are macrophages, fibroblasts, dendritic cells. So no matter how much gas you're going to put on the T cells,
The limitation.
they will not work unless you start removing these roadblocks. Macrophages, fibroblasts, have them working for you. So there, the breakthrough now after checkpoint inhibitors, that's where the next breakthroughs will be made.
I will also on top on add on for the immune oncology is the breakpoint on certain radiotherapy and chemotherapy, because you can really lower down some of the chemo with your PD-1, PD-L1 or other inhibitor, checkpoint inhibitors. Then I also thinking about earlier there was the talk from microbiome for the GI tract. You can think about that using that one plus also the checkpoint inhibitor. What are the combo coming up? Triple combo is coming as well. In my area for gene therapy, there's a lot. You're talking about using virus, you can use in stem cell, you can do the ex vivo. And I think nowadays, even starting in Stanford University, as well as in China, in certain university in Shanghai and in Beijing, are looking for what we call a virus. That means not using virus at all. And then because that will be helping to escape your whole immune escape of the system, and also potentially to avoid the what you call the insertion mutagenesis. So those are the new technology that even China is also thinking about it now.
That's yeah. That's I think the China is really catch up, but it's still like a lot of things that we can learn from here. US.
Learn how to walk first before you learn how to run. Sorry.
So we normally is take a flight.
Yeah.
Okay, we just wanted to have the last maybe few sentences to wrap up our very wonderful discussion. Actually, thank you so much. You guys make me feel like I'm having a brunch with my friends.
Where's my mimosa?
We need to do that in person soon.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, maybe both of you can share like what's your forecast or your like hope for the 2021?
Well, I actually hope we can meet in person again. That's my one. But still, I would tell this the current trend of virtual meetings, that's going to continue. It's going to accelerate collaborations. That's going to continue on. Even it's going to be the driving force, and we're going to see a lot of nice stuff happening in the industry. But I still hope to meet everybody in person.
I do think that you're correct. I think the 2021 kicked off with JP Morgan, and my God, it was like every half-hour meeting, and it's like the bio convention, and it was the first time for them. And I think the technology is here. It's just they did never put together, and that will be more virtual. I don't think people will go back to have a well, travel is good. You still will have that, but definitely more virtual now, and it make it more efficient. Like right now doing video. I mean, yeah, I cannot get the mimosa from you, but at least I can say, hey, I know where you are. So yeah, more collaboration, I think. Oh, more collaboration between industry and as well as industry with academic. That is also important because the resource in academic is there. They just never brought it up to become
into a business. That's
yeah.
Thank you again so much for this wonderful discussion. Actually, it's very inspiring, and also your insight for Europe, China, and the US. I feel like I kind of like provide a very overview what's happening and what happened in the past 2020, and congratulations again to make the challenge to be the great opportunity for both of your company. And I'm really looking forward to have a similar conversation again, but in person.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us today, and stay safe, and hope to see you again soon.